So the corner structure is an old building, and at the back is the executive architects, right? So you can restore a building and still add a contemporary structure, hopefully something that is, how should I put it? Sympathetic to what is there. And a lot of people use glass. In the US, they use a lot of glass, but it's reflective. And sometimes you think about the other way around, where IMP did this glass pyramid at the Louvre, right? And everything was down underground. The museum was down underground. But then it has this glass pyramid and this historic heritage buildings around it. So that's my presentation. It's supposed to be provoking thought. So I'm open to questions.
So,
Yes, sir.
to what extent does your budget permit you to carry out your preservation mission? And I ask that specifically because I've been in any number of islands. For example, Long Key, which is the first capital of the Bahamas. As you walk up that hill, on your left are those slave dungeons that really want to have historic significance to every Bahamian, that are just being allowed to just deteriorate by neglect, as you said. When you go up there, you see the old Williams home, two-story building, must be over 100 years old. It's completely mahogany. The graveyard, it's the Anglican church there. It's all marble. If you go to Williamstown, you can see the slave tombs down there, but they're on private land. To what extent do you feel you are able to really carry out your mission nationally? To what extent are we losing these valuable, historically significant sites in this country? And how is it that the MMC can preserve some of that by perhaps filming it, by doing, carrying out an educational mission in this country? Because some of the things that I just mentioned, I'm sure that half the people in this room don't even know that exist.
You're asking the question, you're answering some of the questions as well. The budget within the AMMC is nil, almost, right? What we have been doing, and one of the reasons I mentioned communities, is partnering with communities. We have tried, and we are still continuing to try. The legislation doesn't speak to a lot of what you're speaking about. We need to have some appendices to the legislation, for one. Going out into communities and getting communities involved is one of the things that AMMC has been looking at. We have been basically partnering to a point with the University of the Bahamas architectural department, right? In trying to find, like for instance, we went to Roxham the other day and into Governor's Harbor. Governor's Harbor has Kupitsky Jail, right? And we are trying at least to be able to survey them and eventually get into the communities and try to find corporate sponsors with it. But if the act doesn't allow us to do that right now, there's some things that are holding us back a lot.
Are you going to seek to amend it? And also, what about partnering with these large foundations that all around the world that have millions and millions of dollars for these types of purposes?
That is something I have always pushed for, but I'm going to continue to push for it because you see it happening for others. We have with the OAS a program with Coherent where the Bahamas was selected as the great child behind putting the registers together within the Caribbean. Why? Because it is an American company, Coherent, and they found out through a past program in the OAS that Bahamas uses the same basic format for our register, collecting our register data. So when this coherent program was asked to look into having registers throughout the Caribbean, Bahamas was selected. And that's how we ended up basically going to Harbour Island as a community within, right? So there are ways in which we can partner with these universal investment companies. I call them universal because it's not just the US, right? But these are some of the things I've been pushing for and pushing for. But they seem to fall not to open ears. I don't call them deaf ears, not to open ears. But I understand where you're coming from. And this is something that we could help push, right, to get done.
There are about 3 buildings downtown that are owned by some of the wealthiest families in the Bahamas, and they refuse to repair those buildings. What can be done?
I remember one of the buildings, I don't know if you'll be talking about that one at the street. The Chinese guy that owns it, that owns Sunan right around the corner. It seems like, and I speak frankly, he might turn over on his bed one day and say, okay, I'll pick this up again. And just as he turned over, he turned back and go back to sleep. Right? And there's no legislation. We tried, Mr. You know about it, yeah. And the act doesn't have enough teeth to get it done. If you tell them they're paying $10,000, I can pay that and move on. Right? You have to hit it every it is.
It needs to be a fine that every day that you don't do something,
right,
is another $1,000.
Right. Until we take it away.
Yeah, Ms. Oxley, nice presentation. I was trying to get some understanding of what you meant by field. When you said one of the criteria of, like you really have to have a feeling for an historical building in order to restore it? Because I'm thinking
no, the area I was looking at, not just the building.
Oh, okay.
The setting. The setting I was looking at. Like that was Spanish Wells. You go past Spanish Wells, you see anything? Right. So the field. Yes.
I tried to look up online to find out, to see if AMMC has published the register of all these historical places.
No, we do not have it published because until the act has changed, some of these places are privately owned and we don't want to go against other people.
Do y'all have plans in order to change the act in any point in time?
Yes, it has, and I say that yes, we love to do because we have been talking about it and not doing anything.
Just lastly, you mentioned privately owned historical site. Okay, my problem is I went to Athens about 3 years ago. I went into Landwell Point. And then it's Landwell Point.
Yes.
Landwell Point took time. And the quick line, not Athens. And there is the old post office. One of the first post office in the Bahamas. It's encompassed in a private entity. How do we address something like that?
These are the points that we have to come up with within the legislation and bring them into the amendments to the legislation. Because initially, if I remember well, when the AMMC came into being in 1999, the act was almost quickly put together. But since then, we have been trying to make amendments. I have been with them, but I've noticed some of the things that we can't even budge on because it would go against.
I understood what you said, but to me, in my mind, it's impossible for a private entity to take over a government property and include it in their entity. What
You mean the post office being a government property? You have to find out the ownership of that building. Was it a loan building or private, or was it a government?
As far as I knew, and as far as the old people in Auckland said, that building was government property. And quickly, that is government property. Now, how it got in the hands of
private ownership.
owners, I don't know. Because
That
you
is something that
remember,
would have to be
they
checked.
lived in one of the first ports of entry in the Bahamas. That was the area that males would normally transport. So it had to be in government property, like the other said. Now, how would it get inclusive in the private entity? We need to check it out.
That is a legal matter. That would be a legal matter. There's, for instance, let's see, Blackbeard's Tower. Blackbeard's Tower out east.
Yeah.
That is a government entity. There's
My
no
point.
Blackbeard's Tower.
It's the same thing to that.
Right.
It's the
There was
same
no
person to
Blackbeard's
that.
Tower in the first place, but Blackbeard that was a military establishment. But through the Ministry of Tourism, they gave it that name. So we say AKA Blackbeard's Tower. Right. Also known as.
Mhm.
Right. There's another one, the Winton Battery. The Winton Battery is a military thing. I understand you wanted to put a subdivision in there once. But we were going back in our records, because we have researchers who are going back to the records where government like borrowed land.
Oh,
from
well,
someone.
I personally serve notes on those people to stop it. Yeah.
But it's, a lot needs to be done as far as the research is needed before actually legislating things to happen.
Okay, my last question before they think I take him over your my thing is, how do we go about collectively identifying all of the historical sites in the Bahamas? Because if you look at San Salvador have what means tower. San Salvador has the Farquharson plantation and many other in San Salvador. And you have Auckland that has an extension, Crooked Island that has an extension to the Farquharson plantation. And there's other slave or plantation within Crooked Island. You don't see these things nowhere in our writings. So how are we going to publish these things or make it known to the outside world that we exist?
I lightly touched on community. Right? I lightly touched on community. Community is one of the ways. If the same way they have the Auckland Crooked Island group, if there were people within that community that we could liaise with, right? I have been putting in our budget every year to go to the family islands. Nothing has ever happened. What we do is, for instance, we got an application the other day for someone who is purchasing an island that has a historic building on it. So we partner with them. They're taking us out there to do the survey, right? For one of not having money in the coffers, right? We don't do it so as to gain something by it. What we are gaining by it is information to be shared by others. Right?
Which island is that?
Huh?
Which island?
Wilkie,
Which
Very
one?
Island.
The one off Crooked?
Wilkie on Very Islands.
Okay.
Right? There was a house that was owned by someone from some oil place from
Isn't
there.
it the Betty Castor's residence on Wilkie?
What's that?
No, I thought it was the Betty Castor's residence.
No, it was a Francis person, right? And some of these things come to us. So we, at least the AMMC is out there for some people, but there are a lot of people who still do not come to us. What we try to do, and we have made connections with the Bahamas Investment Authority, because a lot of people come in, they want to buy a real estate, right? And they go to the Bahamas Investment Authority. We ask them to liaise with us because plenty of these areas they want to buy have plantations on them.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of history of the Bahamas, within the Bahamas, that we haven't even begun to touch. In my section, it's just two of us, right? Myself, getting ready to retire, and one other who is the one who deals with the getting the documents, not so much the digitizing of the information, right? So I think I'll put a plug in right now. Consider, not necessarily you here, but consider thinking and talking in your communities about preservation, right? Maybe you would find, we have, like I say, the UB students, I teach a class, I taught a class there last year, they asked me to teach another one, on history in architecture. And it's the way it's brought over to the youth, right? You can't make it academic. Take them out, let them go, let them see, let them touch, right? We don't sit at the desk all the time, right? We watch things not necessarily local, because a lot of what came from Romans and Greeks, right? The basics, the lintel and the post, right? They came from the Greeks. How we utilize it in our culture, we still getting the stabilization, the structural stabilization, right? Some of us, yes, we play with shapes, and if you look at the Greek and the Romans, yes, they went from here to this. They went from flat, and because of the keystone, they were able to have the curve. Move the keystone, the whole thing will drop down, right? So it's an evolution. And it has been passed on to us within our culture. Okay, but here I wanted to say something. Okay.
Ms. Oxley, I enjoyed your presentation. Two things I wanted to mention. The legislation being considered for this, would compulsory acquisition be something that's considered? So if a building falls into disrepair...
That is something we will probably get into the amendments as well. That's a very good point.
So that's one thing. Secondly, if I identify a property that's a good candidate for restoration, make an offer to the buyer, or the owner of the property get it, how easy is it to get all of the approvals in place to get the concessions to upgrade that building?
Okay, I have brought and I'm using with the electricity personnel, the application forms, right? There is and these forms have morphed through time. Literally morphed through time.
So now a history of homes.
Yeah, I have it on one of my presentations, history of before. But this is one of the forms that we have lately, and this was being done along with that same program we've been doing in the Caribbean, right? Because whereas in the beginning the Americans were telling us, oh, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way. Culturally, we couldn't even keep up with that, right? For instance, if you had to put the style of a building, and they're talking about a Romanesque something somewhere, where we can find that in the Bahamas, right? Maybe one or two buildings, right? A flying arch, a flying buttress, where do we find that? So some things then we had to adjust to accommodate our Bahamian Heights as a group. Okay? So this is one of the forms, and I'm going to send it. I think, I'm not sure if it's on our website at the AMMC, but it's being upgraded, and I'm not sure it is back up yet. But these applications, including the one from Ministry of Finance, right? These are done almost together, right? This one comes to us first. We, based on the information that you have presented, you may ask back and forth questions until we establish exactly what we're looking at, right? It may include a site visit, especially if it's on the Providence Island. And like the Birchie incident where they're flying us out, right? We are going to be able to at least have a hands-on view of the structure they speak of. The one from the Ministry of Finance awaits our acknowledgement before they even process it. One of the things that the Ministry of Finance do, and you'll see on the last page, note all prior real property taxes are to be paid in full to be eligible for these exemptions. Right? You have a lot of people trying to come through the back door. The Ministry of Finance, we don't say to the Ministry of Finance, whatever. The Ministry of Finance does their part. But we can say, okay, they're eligible, they write to the person and say, the taxes are not paid up to that date, and it's as of the application date.
So is it possible that could consider to be waived in cases where, let's say there's a building, like say a wealthy landowner owned the property. So now if he didn't pay the property tax,
He had-
you want
he
to
has-
make an offer to them, you now have to deal with
That
that.
you will have to deal with the taxes, and it's unfair to you.
Yeah, you can't maybe waive it, perhaps.
It would be unfair to
Not
you.
you can't sell them, they can't sell the
They
property.
can't sell
that property
Unless they-
unless they clear that.
unless they pay the
They
rent.
will.
Take it out to how much they charge.
Yeah, and the other document I'm leaving,
Just about
this is
right.
the act and the regulations as they are today. Okay?
Is that app online?
Yes, it is online, chapter 51. The Bahamas Acts, laws, and the regulations of 1999. But I'm just leaving a hard copy for, and also that presentation I did, I have. So that's it.
Okay, we enjoyed the presentation so much that we didn't even realize the time. And even after the minister made his opening remarks, but the best island in the Bahamas, Long Key. My hometown, so that took me off. But at this time, we'll call Chief QS, Mr. Hoffman, who will bring the board of thanks. So,
well, this is a wonderful presentation. My countrywoman has done us proud. I want to say that I know two other architects. Of course, I know a lot of architects, but I know two other architects very personally. One is my wife's niece, and the other one is her classmate. He's in Trinidad. He was the premier conservation architect in Trinidad. And I want to say that all architects are passionate, but the conservation architects are really passionate about these buildings. So I see the passion and I say, okay, this is normal. It's been they're so passionate about these old historic buildings that they want to keep it. And I'm sure to you, the passion has come through in her presentation. But we learned so many things today. I want to thank you for, as a QSI, I need to know these terms, all these new terms of historic, demolition, neglect, and all that. The demolition by neglect and all these terms, which is really, really interesting. I thank you for that. And we learned the limits of the AMMC's Act, and we learned several other issues that have to do with conservation and rehabilitation of buildings. I want to thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
I just want to say I want to thank the team. I want to just thank the team as well for putting together this wonderful presentation. It was really wonderful and really needs to go out there and maybe could be repeated again because this is fabulous. Thank you.
okay, we'd like to invite senior management who will come and take photographs.